Hello and welcome to the ROI Healthcare Solutions Rice Fundamentals for Project Success, which we've recorded for Inforum. My name is Kevin Branford, and I'm going to be walking you through this presentation. I'm the Director of ERP Technology Services at ROI. I've been working with the Infor S3 and Cloud applications for over 23 years. I have about 6 years of experience in the Infor Cloud Suite applications, and I was the technical project manager for the first integrated CSF and HCM Cloud Suite implementation. I'm working today with Brittany Jones, who's one of our project managers at ROI, and I want to give her a chance to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Brittany Jones. I'm one of the project managers from ROI, like Kevin mentioned. I have over 10 years of project management experience. The majority of that is within the healthcare industry. And in this session, like Kevin mentioned, we will be discussing RICE and how that plays into a successful project outcome. So for the past 20 years, ROI has been working closely as a trusted partner to healthcare providers. We're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, but we work with organizations across the country. As a partner, we like to focus on trust, relationships, tangible results, and when our customers are successful, we are successful. We are also proud to be award winner partner in healthcare. KLAS has designated ROI as the winner of their Best in Class Award for 2019 for our application support services based on anonymous customer reviews. We also have an ERP practice, and we have been a category leader for the past 2 years based on our Infor implementation projects.
On the Infor ERP practice side, you'll notice that we have broad depth across all the different applications, from the finance all the way to digital transformation and BI. So you'll notice all the applications that we have done work in here, and that we're actively engaged in work on. You also notice that ROI, really our ERP practice got started from a project management and change management perspective all the way at the very beginning of the company's early founding. We have certified consultants across the applications, and we have deep functional and technical expertise with Infor. Today we're going to be talking in more detail about RICE, as you know. We'll be talking about what is RICE and why it should matter as far as project planning and some common symptoms of bad RICE, some key principles and actions, ways to benefit from a mature RICE development, and then some next steps for you as you walk through this process. So the first question that we need to answer is, what is RICE? And so we'll go ahead and break that down from the different components of RICE. So you'll see that we have the R in RICE is reports, then interfaces, conversions, and extensions. And so reports, these are any custom reports that you need in your system because the standard delivery of the reporting doesn't quite meet your needs. Maybe you need to have some special reporting, for different levels throughout your organization. Then you move to interfaces. So these are any third-party interfaces between Infor applications and then a vendor that you're working with. So this might be, some of your interfaces to different, benefit providers or different applications that you want to bring in transactions from across your enterprise. Next is conversions. So this would be any of the conversions that you might use would be transforming any of the data from your current system that you're on into the new applications. So, typically those are one time, to go live that you would use those different conversion objects. And then finally extensions. So these are any modifications to the Infor delivered functionality. And that could include configuration console, list views, process automations, etc. So after we've talked about RICE, wanted to spend a minute talking about, some things that can go wrong with rice. So these are some items that we can see as we get engaged in a project or start working with a client. Some common symptoms we might see if rice was not really organized very well and managed from inception with using the application. So we might see manual and unreliable reporting, some system adjustments or corrections that need to be made because interfaces are not working correctly. Maybe the customizations are too hindering and really limit being able to use new functionality. Maybe over time, organization has had some unsuccessful past projects because maybe their rice, took too long or was too costly. And then finally, we might see some poor system performance as well. So, by taking the next step and kind of organizing the rice, you can see that if time is spent ahead of time, you can see that you can save time and money. And this doesn't necessarily need to be the norm. This can be corrected for future projects that you may be having.
Yeah, so why rice should matter during our ERP planning. So what Kevin mentioned, what rice is we do like to identify those deliverables for both technical and functional development. This includes any existing rice objects as well as some new objects that you identify throughout the course of your project planning. So a couple of things that are at stake that sometimes can get overlooked when developing rice. The first one is that whole development strategy. So how long does it take to complete some of these items? What are the priorities? What are the complexities? What are they, in understanding what they are, as well as testing scenarios. So obviously, as you're going through your project, you will be testing in different stages, and you really want to make sure that certain rice objects are part of each testing milestone. This also kind of goes hand in hand with those business use cases as well. How are folks using it? What are they using it for? What are they trying to get out of these rice objects as well? And then that can kind of help determine if they're needed or not needed, or if they can be altered in one way or another throughout the process, as well as automation. So obviously all rice objects really do help with the automation of a project as well as the go live or the outcome. If you take a few steps back and then you decide not to move forward with specific rice objects, you do have to keep in mind if some of these might create a manual process and what that would look like for your teams as well. And then finally, the final outcome and the go live. It's the success of the project can really weigh heavily on these rice objects and how well they're developed as well. So again, I know Kevin mentioned this a little bit, but without the proper rice planning and development, there will be a risk to both the project budget and the timeline if you do not, take those necessary steps and time in the beginning to really make it successful and easier for both the technical and the functional teams. And then, what does ROI do during our rice workshops that maybe make us a little bit more unique than others? The first one is we do support an accurate budget estimation. So whenever we're working with clients on their rice objects, we do take into consideration the priority and the complexity. And then from there, we'll kind of base it upon how much time has been needed for each rice object so that we can make sure that, our build or development phase really is in line with what the client's rice object needs and wants are. And then also, we've mentioned this quite a bit already, but it does increase that probability of on-time, on-budget delivery. So, the expectation of the client will be weighed heavily on the final outcomes and deliverables of rice. We want to make sure that all the reports are in there, they're generating correctly. We want to make sure that the interfaces are in there and working properly, as well as the conversions and the extensions as well. The third one is that we do like to really hone in on that collaboration between functional and technical teams. Rice affects everybody in the project. So, the technical folks are there to help develop. Our functional folks are there to kind of help understand how the client uses these objects and make sure that the notes and all information is in there and ready for our developers to just hit the ground running. And then the last one is we do facilitate a roadmap and priorities for both the functional teams and the stakeholders. So again, proper documentation throughout this entire process is key, because your RICE object documentation will and is a live document throughout the entire project phases. So, you're going to have it in your design sessions, you're going to have it in your proof of concept during development, and then testing, and then your final go live, or that final outcome that you're looking for or you're working towards. So, you really want to make sure that that documentation is up to date and it's ready to move across that project phase.
All right, so by using the RICE workshops that we talked about and other RICE tools, we can get away from some of the common symptoms that we talked about before. We will be able to assist with creating accurate and relevant reporting and analytics. We'll be able to improve system performance, process automation and efficiency. We'll shift the process cycle time. So, in this example, if your close takes a longer period of time because you may have to manually adjust some entries because some interfaces are not working correctly, if proper RICE time is being used, we may be able to assist with that cycle close being completed in a quicker manner. There'll be a shift also, and finally, from keeping the lights on in the system to being able to focus on more important business initiatives. So you're not just trying to get the data into the system, you're able to look ahead and understand key metrics about what's going on in your system. So we wanted to mention that RICE development generally is one of the most feared efforts in the ERP user community. And so as you look to getting to a higher state of RICE maturity, our goal is to shed light on this missing gem and to be able to contribute to on-time, on-budget delivery and technology with ROI. So how can ROI help with your RICE needs? So, if you're currently planning for your Cloud Suite implementation, or you're experiencing any of the common bad RICE symptoms that we mentioned, or even if you want to optimize version 10 and get ready for for Cloud Suite, we can spend some time and help go through that process with you to be able to really, understand your RICE requirements and needs. Assist with using some of our tools and methodologies to bring those RICE objects and put them in a better alignment with your overall project planning. So as we wrap up, there's some other ROI thought leadership that you may want to take a look at from blogs, ebooks, white papers. You'll notice that we've done these different thought leadership offerings on the different applications within Infor Cloud Suite. So decoding the global ledger, embracing HR innovation, and key strategies when and how you would modify your system. So you also notice at the bottom there's some links. So if you'd like to visit us at Inform, we do have a virtual booth, and you can stop by and take a look and maybe speak to some of the folks in our ERP practice that might be able to assist and look at maybe taking your RICE to the next level. And then also, if you'd like to take a look at our thought leadership, it is on the link at the bottom of the page. So roihs.com/thought-leadership. So thank you for joining, and I hope that the time was valuable for you to understand a little bit more about what ROI would do from a RICE workshop and RICE development planning standpoint. Thank you.